Have you ever felt you were behind? Behind your peers. We started in the same place, but they seem farther along than me. Behind your personal expectations. According to my vision board, I should have this, that, and be there by now. Or behind time. It seems to be passing me by and I can't catch up. No one wants to be stuck in the back of the line. No one wants to be the last person picked. It makes us feel unwanted, useless, like a second thought. And I'm willing to bet there are lots of people striving and pressing, yet still feel behind where they thought or hoped to be. I know what this is like. I was looking forward to accomplishing some things, gaining successes, and amassing finances as soon as possible. I prepared, worked, took risks, and made a little progress, but not the kind of progress I had in mind. And at some point, I became concerned I was too far behind the opportunity or blessing meant for me. On one hand, this led me to frantic, impatient behavior as I tried forcing the issue. On the other, it caused me to pause my pursuits as I asked myself, what's the point? When we think we are too far behind to catch up, we may feel tempted to overwork, take shortcuts, or quit. If you know what this is like, I want to encourage you to give yourself grace. Don't force it. And at the same time, don't stop your pursuit. Abandon your progress or minimize your growth because you may be a late bloomer. And here's the truth. God determines when we bloom. This is how the psalmist says it. For not from the east or from the west and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. I was reminded of this truth not long ago. Last November, my Thanksgiving cactus budded and bloomed beautiful pink and white flowers. After their time in the spotlight, the flowers slowly began to wither, droop, and fall to the ground. I was thankful for the bloom. I took pictures and sent it to my friends to celebrate its beauty. And I was already anticipating the next one. But the bloom wasn't over. One day, a single flower caught my attention by surprise. Where did you come from? I thought. How did I miss you? Then it occurred to me, this is a late bloomer. I wanted to say to the flower, what was it like watching all the other flowers bloom and be honored before you? How did it feel knowing you wouldn't bloom with the others? It must have been hard, but obviously you didn't let timing stop you from growing. This flower didn't quit. And at the right time, God's time, its time, the bloom happened. God lifted it up. And here's what I found to be most interesting. The late bloomer stood out. It shined brighter, received more attention because it was late. Imagine that. The one thought to be forgotten, overlooked, and counted out is the same one God lifts up to prominence. This is how God works, and it's the reason we ought never stop working. We don't know when God will lift us up, promote us, exalt us, or bring us into the certain future we desire. Maybe God isn't delaying you because you have debilitating deficiencies. Maybe the reason God hasn't opened that door isn't because you aren't meant to go through it. Maybe it's just that God planned for you to bloom later than you thought or hoped. If you are seeking, but also feeling like you may miss what God has for you, I'll tell you what the Spirit convinced me of when I feared the same. You won't be late. I know you may feel far from where you want to be, who you want to be, or what you want to do, but you're not too far to still bloom. One key to keep growing when we feel like we're too late or too far behind is to remember that lifting does not come from the east, west, or wilderness, nor does it come from jobs, people, or circumstances. Blooming is from the Lord and can come at any time. So, if you feel behind, it doesn't mean you are. Keep growing and leave the blooming to the Lord. Peace.